Hello, and welcome to this week's section on how to be a better speaker, hone your speaker skills. Last week, I posed the question, what questions have you got? What are your burning questions about the speaking business? Well, I got one very long request for lots of answers for particular questions. So I'm going to tackle 4 of them today, and they all come under the pillar of promotion. So the marketing side, the promotion side. Remember the 9 pillars of influential communication all begin with a P? So this is where promotion comes in. Go backwards. Let's look at the fundamental pillars before we can think about promotion. We think about promotion pretty early on in the piece, admittedly. But the first one you've got to work out is your purpose. Why are you speaking in the first place? Why you? Why this message? Why now? Once you've got that nutted out and you've then worked out who your ideal audience is, you know, your people, and therefore you've got the language that you're going to use, and you've inhabited that ideal person, that one person that you're speaking to, then you know where they hang out, what sort of events they go to. Are they a podcast junkie? Are they people who go to live seminars? Are they people who look at virtual webinars, virtual summits? Where do they consume their fill in your blank, the transformation that you provide? So that's the first thing to be very clear on before you do anything else, because your promotion, your marketing will not make sense unless or until you are clear on your purpose and you are clear on the people, the person you are speaking to. Get in their heads. Where do they consume their information from? Because those are the places that you require to promote your services to. Okay, so how to effectively market yourself was the first question. When you know where your ideal audience hangs out, that's where you go and effectively market yourself. If they are podcast junkies, which sort of podcasts are they listening to? Make a note of them. If your avatar, your ideal client is you, rewind 5-10 years, podcasts may not have been a great thing then. But what sort of information would you back then have wanted to listen to, have wanted to hear? What would have made most sense to you? And are those things available in podcasts? If a podcast is where you think your ideal client is consuming a lot of information. Podcasts, I have to say, are pretty good because they appeal to people on the go. Very often, okay, vulnerable share here, I listen to podcasts when I'm cleaning, when I'm doing the dishes, when I'm in the car, when I'm doing something else. Very rarely will I sit down and listen to a podcast. And I suspect you're the same. And I suspect your ideal audience will be the same as well. They're things that you do incidentally. You gather the information by osmosis. And when you want to go back and go, hang on a minute, what was that point they made? Then you stop. You take full notice and you go back and maybe write things down or whatever. You go back and check the show notes. So that's the first thing, effectively marketing yourself. Where does your ideal client get their information? Where are they consuming the sort of information that you can feed into? Are they podcast junkies? Do they watch YouTube videos? Are they going on to live events? Are they doing virtual summits? It could be any or all of these. Dig in deep. When you know who you're speaking to, that's where you go to effectively market, because that's where they are. Otherwise, hello wall, you might as well talk to the wall. for all the effectiveness of your promotion, your marketing. Best platforms to showcase your expertise. Well, there again, that depends on who you're talking to. Where do they listen? Where do they watch? Goes back to these fundamental pillars. Promotion has to come alongside people and purpose. You getting the idea of this? Keynotes and beyond. This was a question about marketing, not just marketing, it was also income streams. So how can we as speakers get financed, monetize our skills beyond the keynote? Now, for those of you who are not quite clear on this, keynote speeches are the ones where you rock up, you get your money in advance. Do make sure it's in advance. You get your money up front, you don't pitch, and you walk away again because you've inspired them and got your hand claps, and that's it. End of relationship. Those can be helpful. They give you the money up front, but that's it. There's no recurring money from that sort of event unless you get booked again, which is obviously the ideal. However, if you then go on to stages where you are allowed to pitch, chances are you will have to pay to play on that one. You can then pitch. And what do you pitch? What do you add? What value do you bring that's tangible that the audience can take away? Well, some of you know that we've done a multi-author book, Making a Difference. That's something that you can take along. You can pitch, you can monetize something from the back of the room. They've heard you speak. They've got something they can physically take away with you as a reminder. That's one thing. Coaching packages, that's the other popular thing. What can you offer them from stage? It can be a coaching package that requires you together with them. It can be one that is a video course, a self-paced video course. There are lots of different options. But yes, if you are speaking from stage, unless you want to go in and out and no further relationship with the audience, aka a keynote, then have something up your sleeve. Have something ready that you can offer from stage. That was the third question, keynotes and beyond. Fourthly, how to build and maintain relationships with event managers. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, where are your audience hanging out? What events are they going to? Find out who's running those events and then go and talk to them. Build that relationship. Go along to some of their events. If you can, go along and help them. Maybe even promote some of the stuff that they are promoting that doesn't necessarily include you, but you then get a pat on the back. You build that relationship, that edifying relationship, because they can then see that, well, flip, if she has promoted an event that I'm involved with, but they're not, what are they going to do for an event that I'm in charge of? They're really going to promote it, aren't they? Ha! That's a person I want to consider as one of my speakers. You're setting the groundwork for a lucrative, a prosperous relationship. You know, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. So that would be something I would recommend. If you're looking at corporate gigs, find out, one, who books, two, who holds the purse strings, because they may not be the same person. You're going to have to do your research on this one. And then think about, well, what have they offered in the past to their staff by way of motivational stuff? If they are a company that, say, you're talking about mental health, or you're talking about diversity and inclusion, then what have they offered already? Who do you know in the same arena that has a different spin on things to you, go and have a look at their website. Because if they've spoken to corporates, they've spoken to people who've got purse strings, have a look on their website. There will be a banner as seen on or spoken to. There will be a logo of some of the big corporates in there if they've managed to speak to them. Now you know that they engage speakers on that particular topic. You've got an in. Start doing your homework. Comes back to, what is your purpose? Who are your people? When you've got that very clear, then your promotion is going to make sense and be effective. That's what I've got for you this week. Next week, we will tackle some more of those burning questions. Now, I've got quite a few to be going on with. However, Wednesday is our day for asking questions. This goes out on Tuesday. That's Tuesday my time. I appreciate that for our American and Canadian friends, this is probably a little bit beyond. This comes out on a Monday night for you. We're elastic with our times. My point is, on that Wednesday for you, write in what your questions are. And look out for the following week, or maybe a couple of weeks later, for this slot on your Monday night / Tuesday morning for the answers. How to be a better speaker. For this week, bye from me.